with that, I believe we are live.
And good afternoon, everyone. It is Sunday, June 3rd, 2018, with another episode of Beyond the Thin Blue Line. I am your host, the Devil Dog, and with me, as always, the one, the only, always reliable, the Doc. Doc, what's up, brother? It's good to be back, man.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be back. We missed a few weeks. What happened there?
Missed a few weeks. You know, I took some time away, as you know. I took some time to go to D.C. for Ashley's graduation. I went sightseeing, looked at the Lincoln Memorial and Dr. Martin Luther King statue over there. So I took some time off. I'm ready to rock. I missed you, Doc. I know we're going to have a good show today because it's a touchy subject. It is all about resisting arrest. What do you think about that, Doc?
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of mixed emotions that come along with resisting arrest.
Yeah, man, and it's everywhere. It's not only in NYC, everywhere. I'm pretty sure in your neck of the woods and throughout the United States. It's a really, really touchy subject. So I invite our viewers to comment. Don't hold back, man. We can take it. Doc and I can take it, man. We're veterans, so
we have big balls.
Wait, that's it, man. We can take anything you throw at us, man. So, Doc, first of all, I want to give a big shout out, man. I got a new commanding officer at the 44 Precinct, man.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he's a cool dude. He comes to us with over 20 years of experience in law enforcement. He's done gang, narcotics. His ultimate dream, as he told me when he joined the NYPD, was to become a New York City detective. But he's excelled all the way to deputy inspector. His name is none other than Deputy Inspector DeSigley. He's a wonderful addition to the 44, and we welcome him. Welcome aboard, D.I. DeSigley. So I had to give him a quick shout out and a plug.
Welcome aboard, even though I'm not there. I'm not a cop.
It's all good, man. It's all good.
Yeah, so this whole resisting arrest thing, why do you want to talk about this?
You know, Doc, it's just been so out there in the media, the radio. Every time I turn on the TV, no matter what network it is, all I see, and in the newspapers, man, all I see is people resisting arrest. And like I keep saying on my shows, and you know this, Doc, I always tell people, it's very simple. It's very, very simple. You comply with the officer's instructions, there will be no problems. But it's like open season now on law enforcement. Every time an officer where he or she tries to effect a lawful arrest with probable cause, there's always that one idiot or idiots resist, kick, flail their arms.
That's
or
true.
You know, it just happens. And I'm not saying, you know, all the time it's good, because a lot of times, hey, I go both sides.
Yeah.
Sometimes officers go a little bit too much to the extreme, but the majority of the officers are trying their best to uphold law and order. And hey, resisting arrest happens, man. What are some experiences that you've seen where you live at in the media or the paper? You seen any? And I know you see it all over the freaking internet about resisting arrest, brother.
Yeah, I mean, it's everywhere. It's mostly on like my Facebook feed and stuff, where I'm just scrolling through and I just see someone resisting or someone fighting the cops for whatever reason. Doesn't matter.
Right.
Actually, reasons do matter, but I'll get into that a little bit later.
Cool.
But yeah, I mean, you see this stuff all over. I mean, locally, we don't really have a lot of police activity locally. Mean, at least that I know of. But
right.
Yeah, I'm just aware of like the more common stuff, the stuff that goes viral, if you will.
That's it, exactly. But if any of you viewers out there, please comment. Doc, keep a lookout on any viewer comments, because I'm going to be focusing on this topic. But if anybody's out there, please comment. What do you think? What are your thoughts about the NYPD or the police department in general? Forget about the NYPD. I'm talking here on the Thin Blue Line with the entire law enforcement community. I just don't want to say it's all about NYPD.
So I got a question for you.
Yeah, go for it.
Is it ever okay to resist?
Never okay to resist. That's me. That's the Devil Dog's view.
Really? So
it leads to more and escalating. You know, it's just no. I'm gonna say it's never good to resist arrest.
So what if that cop was going to rape you?
Okay, this is what I can say as far as any wrongdoing regarding the police in general. All right, let's go with that. Let's say this rogue cop happens to pull someone over, being that you brought that up, in some old, some back alley, and this officer wants to do something criminal like that. First of all, I don't wish that upon anyone. If a cop does that, he's a total asshole. You don't deserve to be in the police department. But in the event that something like that happens, there's avenues to take. All right. So, for example, in the NYPD,
well, rape is considered a very serious crime, and you can defend yourself by taking someone's life.
Exactly. If that does happen, that individual, whether it's female or male, can take steps within the court system and internally. We have internal affairs. We have civilian complaint review boards. There's ways to go about doing right by a civilian for wrongdoings of the police, and that's just too extreme, Doc. I'm just saying other stuff like if the guy or girl feels like he was taken into custody unjustly for whatever reason, a traffic stop or whatever it is, just comply with the officer's instructions.
I think that's what the Jews did back in World War II. They just complied. I think that's part of the problem that we're having today.
That probably may be, man, but damn, I hate it when people just don't want to comply, man. I'm pretty sure this is going to hit a nerve with Steve, my neighbor.
But can you really blame some people? Say you get a person like me. I mean, I comply with officers. I've never had a negative interaction with a police officer. To where, I mean, I would resist. I would never. Like, why? I mean, there's just no point. I mean, more than likely I'm gonna lose because they have more of them than there are of me, usually. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. But what I'm trying to get at is, what if someone is just legitimately having a bad day and they don't know that they've done something wrong? I understand that ignorance isn't an excuse under the law. However, do you think that some cops take it a little bit further instead of trying to diffuse and de-escalate a situation? They just engage.
Yeah.
They just go for it, like whatever. Like, I'm protected, so the cop has no fear. But I mean, that person that's having a bad day, their life just got ruined.
Yep, I'm gonna have to agree with you on that one. That's a great example because there's times with the guy just having a bad day, or guy or girl is having a bad day, and here comes this cop. This cop might have a chip on his or her shoulder. Yeah. And it's like, whatever, I'm the law, and that's the way it is. You have to have some. That's where the training comes in. I'd say, training at the police academy is all well and good, but damn, a lot has to do with your character, man. Yeah. How were you brought up? For example, someone like myself, born and raised in the projects, poor, poverty, on welfare, I can relate to some of those individuals that I encounter on the street. So I don't always have this chip on my shoulder where, hey, I'm the man, I'm the cop, and this is how it's going to go down. I use discretion, and that's a lot of things that officers need to start doing. A lot of them don't use it. I have discretion. I can pull someone over. Listen, do me a favor, slow it down, take it easy, and be on your way. You don't always have to be this law enforcement, authority figure. So a lot has to do with using your discretion, where you were brought up. But you're absolutely right, man. Some of these cops, they just think because they wear that shield and that uniform that they can do whatever the F they want. And you get some poor kid that just coming from nowhere, maybe he might be a tourist, he might do something stupid like fucking whatever, jaywalk. I remember there was an instance a couple of years ago, this Asian dude in fucking Chinatown jaywalked. This guy he didn't know what he was doing, and the cops just pounded on this guy. And he's like, come on. It's issues like that, forget about. That's why I can't stand all this bullshit about you have to perform with numbers. It's all about making quality arrests, using your discretion. It's not all about locking people up, So I agree with that. So I'm hoping on today's show you got some couple of clips where we can see something of resisting arrest, and we can comment and tear it apart, man.
Yeah. First, hello, Joy, and hello, Steve. Thank you for joining us here today on the Opposite Blue Line with the dog and myself, the Doc.
Welcome.
One other thing that I wanted to touch on was, or ask you, or I should say, throw my opinion out there about. I think that a lot of the contact is often, at least from what I've seen, is initiated by the police officer, and some people have problems with that because a lot of times it can be a natural reaction. Like if someone goes to grab you, you're gonna like snap your hand away, like, whoa, what are you doing? They're doing stuff without telling people what the hell they're doing. I mean, not whatever, but that I could see that as being a problem too. And
yeah, absolutely.
Just
that happens a lot. That happens a lot, and I can tell a person's demeanor when I engage with them or when I'm about to make a stop. I can see it's just it's the cop instinct. I've been around the block a while, so I can tell whether the guy's gonna run, if he's gonna swing at me. I can tell by his posture. If he starts curling up his fist, I can tell that. That's experience and time in the street as a beat cop. You get that with experience, and I try teaching that to my young officers when I was a field training officer, to just, use your tactics. Look at the guy's eyes, look at his or her hands. When they start doing this, you already know it's gonna come. He's gonna swing. So then you're gonna. Yeah. It's experience. But yeah, body language. You're right. Sometimes the cop is too authority, but.
How would you feel about a change, like for something like as simple as the example that you brought up of jaywalking? How would you feel that you can't arrest someone solely for jaywalking, no matter what the interaction entails?
Yeah.
Because something as quizzical as jaywalking goes to a physical arrest, I mean, that's just ludicrous.
Man, I agree. Some of my colleagues probably, disagree with me, but come on. I could care less what the flavor of the month or the initiative. For that instance, there was an initiative of no jaywalking. We're going to focus on jaywalkers because I understand what the police department tried to do. We had a lot of fatalities regarding, pedestrians. So to kind of stop that, they did the enforcement of jaywalking. I get it. But this old dude did not deserve to, he resisted, but come on, the guy didn't even know what was going on. Yeah. He was like, oh my God, what's going on? So
legitimately confused.
Come on, sometimes some of these cops
I can't say that I would be much
sense.
Different in that situation.
Common sense, man. It's same thing like spitting. Yeah, spitting, you can't be spitting. It's a summonable offense. Come on, some of these officers got to use just plain old fucking common sense. A little thing like spitting or jaywalking, we don't need that to escalate.
Another step was added in somewhere, like, hey, if you made initial contact because of this reason, and an arrest was, or you arrested this person because of something else that they did, do you think an investigation, or like somewhere like a small investigation or a corroboration, whatever, of people, like a panel of kind of, I don't know, like judges or whatever, to see if like it was legit or not?
Yes, I would describe to you what you're talking about. In the NYPD, we have something for those individuals that do what you just said. There is called Civilian Complaint Review Board. These individuals are not in law enforcement. They're a panel that, for instance, if that individual who jaywalked had a problem with the way he or she was treated by a cop, that person has a right to file a civilian complaint. And let me tell you something. These civilian complaints, if they're justified, they can cost that officer money from his pocket. I mean, and right now it's going criminally. But if I do that to you, Doc, you're crossing the street and I just throw your ass on the floor, Doc, and then you was like, yo, this freaking cop, man, I'm going to file a civilian complaint. You have the right to file a civilian complaint on me, and if it's justified, they can say, detective, we're going to take 2-3 days pay from you if it's justified. But if I'm exonerated, it comes up exonerated, nothing happens. Because a lot of times, I'm going to be honest, I've been a cop over 15 years. I've only received two complaints, and they both were from previous shows back. I discussed what an EDP was, emotionally disturbed person. Just whack jobs. This one lady, she was acting crazy. She was on PCP, on cocaine. The son called us. I arrived with the sergeant, and the protocol is, you know what? we're gonna EDP her and send her to the hospital. But she made a complaint that I abused my authority, used of force. She filed the CCRB. I went in front of the CCRB review board. I was exonerated of no wrongdoing. So it happens. It's gonna happen as a cop. It's nothing that a lot of these cops, especially these rookie cops, it just pisses me off. Where it's just like an honor for them. Yeah, I got a couple of CCRBs. You know what? You're an asshole. Those people that brag about getting CCRBs. I'm not saying, because if you're a productive cop and you do the right thing, it's gonna happen. You're gonna get complaints. But if you could prevent it, prevent it. You know. And with my job as a community affairs officer, I go out there and a lot of times I gotta de-escalate situations between the police and the community. And I told these cops, I'm not telling you to be all suck up and everything, but conduct yourself professionally. If you could prevent yourself from getting a civilian complaint, do so. It's not because I work as a community affairs officer. It's just being a freaking good cop. You know, sometimes the public is going to be pissed. You could make an arrest of a freaking drug dealer, and then he's going to go around and file a CCRB. Who gives a crap? You know, you'll be exonerated. So so those people that you were talking about a panel or board, that's called CCRB. That's what we have here in the NYPD.
Very nice. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome, man. We're all about knowledge here, man. Beyond the thin blue line, brother.
Oh, yeah.
And if Joy has a question, please, Joy,
throw
it at us, man.
And for those of you that are watching, I mean, these instances are actually so very few and far between. I mean, this does not nearly reflect the amount of good that the police officers are doing.
Absolutely.
This makes up a very, very, very tiny portion. It's unfortunate, but stuff happens.
That's it. It's reality, man.
There's no way to completely avoid it. All right, so let's get to a couple of these videos here.
All right, let's see.
I'm going to go ahead and share this up here.
Cool.
Alrighty.
And we don't have sound for a reason. We don't want to put sound. So those viewers, if you can't hear it, that's for a reason why we didn't put sound.
All right, let's see here. You got my screen, correct?
I got it, brother.
Oh, let's scroll down here. Oh, this looks like a good one. Resisting arrest at New York City Arby's, March of 2015.
Wow. Let's check it out, man. That's NYPD.
All right.
I see this young man.
I mean, we don't really get the full story here, obviously.
Right. Okay. You definitely see these officers are definitely struggling.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. That's a good video, man.
More came in. Yeah.
People just filming.
Yeah.
Oh, you got to make sure that shot is clear.
Well,
I can give you my comment.
I heard it. He was saying, like, don't record, and the guy that was recording was like, yeah, don't touch me. I can do what I want.
Right. I can give you my comment on this one.
Yeah, sure, go for it.
All right, this is very similar to the incident that happened, that unfortunate incident that happened recently at that Starbucks. So this is, of course, a fast food chain.
Yes.
With issues like this is what happens. Guy comes in, for whatever reason, the employees or the manager calls 911. For whatever reason it is, maybe the guy's acting up, maybe he's being disrespectful. For whatever reason, those police officers call. Because remember, we're not just going to walk in these fast food. I'm not going to put the fast food joint's name. I don't want to plug them. But we don't just walk into these establishments and say, hey, let's just go get this guy out of here. We go in there because we're responding to a 911 call. In this incident, they responded to a 911 call. For whatever reason, that employee said they want this guy out of here, which they have a right to do. It's a private place. So the officers wanted to just escort him out there. I understand the dude was pissed, but as you saw what he was doing, we call it flaring his arms. The minute he starts flaring his arms, he's resisting. Then it took 2, maybe 3 of those cops to actually physically put him on the floor to place him on the rest. It could have been an issue where He could have just walked out like a gentleman, and instead it turned out into an arrest situation. What are your views on that clip there, Doc?
That one's hard because there's not enough video there for me to actually officially make an opinion. Yeah, the guy resisted, but I don't know why, or why
Right.
the police officers were called to begin with, or what they were
Right.
doing there. If he was just hanging out waiting for his meal or something, that would be a different story versus he's in there trying to sell drugs, obviously. I mean,
Yeah.
who knows? There's just not enough of the story.
It's just not enough. We can only go by that footage, and people will tweak that footage. Or
for all I know, that could have been the guy that cures cancer, or the guy that
he could have been a fucking doctor.
kills like 50 kids by selling heroin or methamphetamine or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it happens a lot with us. When I did my time on patrol, me and my partner were always responding to these calls with fast food joints or regular department stores, and they right away wanted this, get this guy out of here. So this is what I used to do. I used to go to the dude that the manager would call on, and I used to go out to him, and I was straight up. This is how I would talk to them. I would go to him and say, look, my man, the manager here is being a real asshole. Do me a favor and just walk out and forget him. Don't give him your business, because I don't want to have to arrest you. I don't want to have to give you a summons. Do me a favor.
You see, now
Just
that's
walk out with me like
a
gentlemen.
very, very professional way to handle
That's
it.
how I handled it. And I never got an issue with resisting arrest in a department store.
Yeah,
or
versus
fast food store.
someone that's coming up to you that's a complete asshole, be like, hey, you gotta get the fuck out of here right the fuck
Exactly.
now.
I flipped it. I blamed it on the freaking person who called. I used to say, when I used to get calls, I couldn't stand it. People were hanging in front of the building. I used to say, listen, guys, do me a favor. Some asshole in this building is probably watching us right now. But they called me to get rid of you guys. They said you guys were starting trouble. I see you guys are just playing a game of dominoes. Do me a favor. Just move it along. And then in a few minutes, just come back. But right now, I'm pretty sure they're watching. Someone in the building called. And they would say, you know what, officer, I appreciate that, brother. Thank you. And then they would walk away. There's no need to fucking be Billy Badass.
All right, Steve Nardi. Does the state
What do you got?
troopers operate the same as NYPD in terms of protocol?
Pretty much. The thing is, state troopers are a paramilitary organization. They have their own systems as far as making complaints. Everyone has their internal affairs bureau. Everyone has their process as far as doing a civilian complaint. State troopers are a whole different breed, man. Whole different breed. So yeah, they're paramilitary. We're somewhat similar, but different as far as the complaints go, making a complaint, or their internal affairs bureau. Yeah, they no joke. State troopers are no joke, man.
Okay, so here's some questions that some people have.
Okay.
If you have a complaint about a certain police agency, who do you contact? Like, do you contact a different agency? Like, if you say you have a problem with a local police officer and it gets reported to their chief and their chief isn't doing anything about it, can you go to, like, say, like a sheriff's office and report?
Gotcha. This is what happens. When
go through the process. Yeah.
I'll tell you how it's going to happen. And these are good questions we're getting, Doc. When an initial complaint comes on a police officer, for example, I'm going to name a fictitious precinct. Whatever. Let's say the 1-1. That's a fictitious precinct. Someone has a complaint about an officer in that precinct. And they go in person. They get thrown out. Oh, get the F out of here. Whatever. We're not going to entertain you. The next step is, what happens is once they call 911 and they say, listen, I want to make a complaint. I went to this precinct. I got thrown out. This is his name, Officer Joe Smo. Automatically, what happens is internal affairs investigates. Automatic. A log number is dropped. So now internal affairs will be calling that precinct supervisor and say, listen, my name is so-and-so from internal affairs. We're doing an investigation on whatever officer. Now that supervisor has to investigate. And supervisors in the rank of sergeant and above, they have a duty to investigate. Without a shadow of a doubt, they have to investigate. Once that investigation is done, IAB log number will be closed out or will be open until the investigation is complete, and then that's how that individual will get justice. They can also go to, like I said, their elected officials. If they feel that, you know what, the whole precinct's freaking giving me a problem. The whole precinct's corrupt. They'll go to the elected officials. But there's a process. You start by going to make the initial complaint.
Do you see a problem with that though?
It is a problem.
Like the officer superiors that are buddy investigating their subordinates, which are their buddies.
I totally hear it, but right, I'm telling you.
So I mean, people have mentioned before, and I've heard it before, the code of silence. So does that actually exist?
Yeah, that thin blue line. That's come on. My show is beyond the thin blue line. But yeah, that's no more, man. There you go. Thank you. That stems from, if you ever seen the movie Serpico. I encourage you to watch that movie. This was one of the NYPD officer who basically broke that silence and that thin blue line and reported corruption. So because of that, they had the Mueller Commission, and then now, you know, corruption is just not tolerated in the police department, NYPD. But these supervisors, believe you me, when that supervisor, that sergeant and above, gets that, he or she has an obligation, has a duty to report it. They're not going to risk their careers for even their best buddy, Officer Joe Smith. That sergeant, that supervisor, is not going to risk his career. He's not going to do it because that's my buddy. Because guess what? It's going to go downhill, and he or she's going to go down with that officer.
Yeah, shit.
I always say, you know, I always say, man, I do the right thing.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that's right.
Exactly.
Oh, shit.
Man, I do the right thing, bro.
Mario Fidanza says, "What's up, Bobby?"
Mario, what's up, man?
Hey, what are your buddies?
Yeah, he used to hang out at my American Legion post. So, what's up, Mario, man? Mario, chime in. If you have a question, chime in. We're talking all about resisting arrest.
Like, I don't know, 5 more minutes here, and then we're gonna call it.
So go for any other quick clip you want to show. That was a good one.
All right, let me share this. We got kind of stuck on conversation there, and so I stopped sharing the screen. But I'll go again here. There was one right here. Fighting a cop resisting arrest.
Wow, that's
a minute and 2 seconds long. All
right, that's a good. Let's check out this.
I'm gonna mute it because I don't want to listen to it because you guys don't have sound. So I'll just make it fair for everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that guy gets out. Oh, what is going on here? Looked like he held up a badge. No, I don't know.
Yeah, let's see what's going on with that.
Tesoro. I don't know where those are. That gas station. Oh,
yeah.
There's nothing here.
Shit.
Like, you don't know what the hell happened before that.
Right. All I see is this cop trying his best to get this guy in custody for whatever reason, whatever he did. But look, this is what pisses me off. Look at the guy. We have some good citizens out there helping out the officer.
Yeah.
That just pisses me off. There's no need for that guy to fight the cop like that. But feel free to chime. If you don't agree, man, hey, just lay it out.
No, I agree. I mean,
those are good bystanders out there, good citizens that helped out that officer. That is just totally uncool. He did not have to fight this fucking cop. If you feel the cop was wrong, comply. When you're done with the process of as far as after you get, you know, your arrest process, do what you got to do to file a complaint against that officer. It's not worth you fighting this cop and getting more charges added to whatever the initial reason was for. That's stupidity. It could be a simple thing like maybe a summons or a disorderly conduct summons to now your ass got to go to central booking because you decided to put your hands up on this cop.
Right. Again, another video where we don't have the backstory of why there was contact initiated in the first place.
So I see this one probably girlfriend yelling at the cops. They're trying to get this person in custody. Yep, and he's trying to tell them, step back. Look, it's a supervisor. It's a sergeant. That's a sergeant. Now they put him to the ground. This lady with a baby there. How stupid can she be?
Oh,
And there they go.
my goodness.
Like I said,
It's just not worth it.
it's not worth it. You might not want those people that were around that guy.
Unless your life is truly in danger, it's not worth it.
Yeah, come on. I mean, it's okay. You can yell, you can curse at the cops. Who gives a crap? But you cannot impede these officers from doing that. You know, that's called OGA, obstruction of government or administration. When you a bystander, I'm trying to affect the lawful arrest, and this baby mom or whoever the hell she is keeps coming at me, and I'm like, get back, get back. That's OGA. She could be arrested for OGA. Is that worth it? I would have just been shouting at the guy, listen, stay down, let them cuff you, relax, stop fighting. That's what she should have been saying to the guy. But instead, she's edging him on, and it's all about, oh, look at the cops doing this, cops doing that. I mean, that's the problem, man. So it's a tough topic, man. That's why I wanted to bring it up. Mario, Steve, what you got?
He says, you think helping out the officer, or I'm sorry, you think a bystander helping out the officer in a struggle, he may putting his life in danger. What are your thoughts? I mean, that's up to the individual person that's helping. I mean, obviously there's going to be a calculated risk there, but if you die because of that, I don't think you're going to be compensated.
Right, and it's yes and no, because that individual who wants to help out the cop, he or she is not going to be, sued if something happens. First, the guy gets his arm broken. He's a good Samaritan. He's protected. That's like if we're going to do CPR to someone and the person dies, we're protected by the Good Samaritan Act.
Right.
It's up to you whether you want to help out the cop. I think it's a good gesture to see innocent people just helping out police officers, but it's up to that individual. You're right, Doc.
He wants to know if there's any rewards involved for helping out a police officer that's in need.
Yeah, you're gonna get a free T-shirt from BlackSheep Bravo from me and Doc. That's what you're gonna get.
You might get a thanks and a pass from that officer on a future infraction.
Exactly, man. You don't have to worry about your tinted windows, Steve. They're gonna look out for you.
There you go.
That's the guy that helped out the cop, man. I just think it's cool, man. I will always help an officer, whether I'm on and off duty.
You're an officer to begin with.
Even if I wasn't a cop, man.
So you have legal authority to.
A lot of cops will just mind their own business and drive by shit and walk by stuff. If I see an officer struggling, I'm going to help out, man. I'm going to help out. And I appreciate those individuals that do help the police. It's truly appreciated. Trust me, it's appreciated.
Do you think that people get in the way of helping?
Sometimes. Sometimes they do.
Even though their intentions are perfectly good.
Yep. And then, you know what? The flip side, sometimes the cop is not aware that he or she's trying to help. And guess what? He gets into custody. That's happened. That's happened. I'm like, I'm trying to help you, and then boom, you get behind your back. That happens. And again, some of these officers just got to use common sense, and
that's what it boils down to, huh?
Common sense, bro. It's not all about locking people up, man. Use your common sense. Use your tactics.
Have some compassion.
Yep. And then one thing I want to bring up, Doc, is the use of body-worn cameras.
Yeah. So has that had any effect?
Yes, since the implementation became all NYPD officers are having body-worn cameras, the amount of civilian complaints have decreased, and now that officer, he or she thinks twice about doing stupid things. Just put it that way.
Good.
Stupid thing, because they're going to be like, oh shit, I got a body-worn camera. The only thing I want to tell those officers out there, do not let that camera interfere with your tactics. I want them always think your tactics. I don't want them to do a fucking arrest or engage with a perpetrator, and all they worried about is, oh my God, am I gonna flip it on? Worry about your tactics first, then the use of the camera. But yeah, the use of the camera has been a great tool.
Why isn't it just that you don't have to turn the camera on? Why doesn't it run all the time?
Right, it does not. It's up to that individual officer to flip that switch on.
That's a problem.
That's a problem, and I don't want those officers to focus on that camera, man. Focus on what you got in front of you, man.
Right.
And you have to use it, like I said, when you're making car stops, when you're engaging an EDP, when you're affecting an arrest, or if for whatever reason that officer, he or she thinks this might go down wrong, he or she can flip on that camera. But the use of body-worn cameras is an excellent tool, and it's decreased the amount of civilian complaints on police officers. It's justified arrests as well.
Let's hear your comment, Mario. He said he has a comment on the camera issue.
Okay, Mario, what's
say
going
what his
on?
comment was.
Lay it on us, Mario.
What is
your
it?
comment? Come on, we're waiting, man. Time is wasting here on the Thin Blue Line.
That's what she said.
Exactly, man. So while we're waiting on Mario's comment, you know, it's a good topic, resisting arrest. So even the kangaroo in back of you is protected on the resisting arrest.
Sure is. And Steve said it's not easy being a police officer.
It's sure not, Steve. You got that right, man. You know, Steve is a cool dude. Like I said, Steve, my neighbor, he's our #1 fan at BlackSheep Bravo. So he understands. And, you know, I'm just a regular guy, man. That's all I am. I'm cool with everybody. You know, I just happen to be a New York City detective, but I'm just a regular, everyday dude, man. Love to hang out. Love my dogs. Love my kids. Mr. Devil Dog puts up with me every now and then. Just a regular guy, man. That's all
So
it is.
Steve said, you think some officers' actions can be effective towards a perpetrator because of the body camera? Yes, I'm going to say yeah, because it's called reactivity. So you know that you're being recorded, so you're reacting because you're being recorded. So that's where reactivity
You already
comes
answered
into
it.
play.
I couldn't have said it better myself, Doc.
Yep. The comment is, the news only shows you part of the story, like that lady who was arrested for public intoxication, so the news only shows you a bit, sadly. Which
Yeah.
is true, which was
That's
one
true.
of my comments, or most of my comments on the previous clips that we saw. Like, we don't have the full story here.
That's
Like,
true.
because I have a problem with someone being arrested for jaywalking,
Me
or
too.
an interaction that leads them to be arrested because of jaywalking, which is completely ridiculous. I mean, there should be like some morals and ethics courses that police officers have to take. But yeah, beyond that, if you're, I don't know, waving a gun at someone, you should get shot.
Yeah, man. I couldn't have said that better myself. That's exactly the correct response to that question. There you have it, Mario. Hope we enlighten you a little bit in that question of yours. And
Yeah,
sometimes
the news likes to they just like to report whatever
Yeah.
they think people are going to react to. They're going to report it. It doesn't matter. They don't care if they're right or wrong.
No, they don't care. It's all about ratings. A lot of times things
Yeah.
happen in the precinct, in the 4-4. I'm the person responsible at the precinct to disseminate information to the media and to the elected officials and to the general public.
Yeah, I mean,
When shit happens,
oftentimes,
I wait.
oftentimes, even like during these like big stories that break out, like even the news agencies will say, "Well, we haven't had any word from the police station or any
Right.
police officers yet about this situation." Like, at least they divulge that much. I mean, come
Yeah.
on.
I wake
Use
up
your
and I
brain,
look at the
people.
news. Come on, common sense. That's the thing, common sense. I got every time they start calling me, all the elected officials, the news agents that calling my cell phone. Hey, what's going on with the latest? I'm like, when I get in, I will, read the report, and once I read the report and confer with my commanding officer, I'll disseminate that information. But that's as far as I go. And if you want more information, go to DCPI, Deputy Commissioner of Public Information. They know it. Everybody want their little sources. Oh, I got my source. No, that's not going to happen with me, man. I follow the rules. I confer with my commanding officer, and I guide them to Deputy Commissioner of Public Information if they want information. They're not going to have me as a source giving them relevant information so they can broadcast it for their freaking ratings to go up. Not going to happen.
Steve, here's another question.
All
Last
right, Stevie.
question.
Last question. What's going on, Steve?
Are we allowed to record police officers on a car stop with a cell phone?
Yeah. It's your right. You can record us. If you remember, Steve, that last detective, when he pulled over that Uber driver and he started berating this Uber driver, it was captured on, guess what? His passenger's cell phone, and that detective got in a situation, got in trouble. Yeah, I don't mind. You can record me all you want. It's your right. You can record an officer perfectly legal. There's nothing wrong with that. So as long as it doesn't impede my job. For instance, if I'm trying to do a car stop and I'm telling you about I need your documents or whatever reason, if you start shoving that camera in my face, that's a problem. You're going to have a problem. I'll tell you. You can record me, but comply with my questions. Show me your license, registration. I have no problem with you recording me because what? I'm recording you as well. I'll make it known. Be advised, this is who I am.
Do people have a duty to inform that they're recording?
Sir, yes, good question there, Doc. Holy crap. Some circumstances arise that in a situation I don't have to tell you, by the way, sir, you're being recorded. If I'm going to an EDP, that might get this EDP riled up. If I tell this EDP who's already going crazy and ape shit on K2, oh, sir, just want to let you know you're being recorded, that might flip them out. So it depends on the circumstances.
What about the other way around? Do people have to tell the cops that they're recording?
No.
Okay.
They're not, they're not police. They can do whatever they want legally, but there's nothing wrong. Yes, Steve, there's nothing wrong with you recording a police officer. So as long as it doesn't impede in my duties.
Are you throwing a blanket statement out there for nationwide, or should people check with like their local state laws?
I'm telling you, I don't see the issue with. It's not against the law for them to record a cop. And they can check with their, like I said, local agencies. But I'm telling you, there's nothing. You have every right to do that. You have every right. For whatever reason, if it makes you feel comfortable, go for it. Because sometimes those knuckleheads, when they do those recordings, they just incriminate themselves. So I welcome it. Record me all you want. You can record my good-looking face anytime you want, man.
Please. All right, and with that, I think we're going to wrap it up here.
We're going to go with our final thoughts.
What?
We're going to go with our final thoughts. What you were going to say, Doc?
I was gonna say thank you to Mario and Steve for their participation. We had a total of 4 viewers today. Yay!
Yeah, where's the thing? Yay!
We're moving on up.
The button that goes yay!
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 That's what's up. Thank you, Joy. Thank you, Steve.
Yes.
Thank you, Mario. I'm upset Mr. Devil Dog didn't tune in. I'm gonna take care of that later.
That's okay. Give her the whip.
Yeah, she should have tuned in, and so was my daughter Ashley.
All right, thank you guys. And
so I appreciate it. We'll go with our final thoughts, Doc. I'm gonna let you close it out with your final thought, and plus, thank you for coming back and co-hosting with me. It's been a while, but we're back, man. What are your final thoughts, Doc?
It's glad to be back. I like this show. It's a nice, relaxing show for me. Get to talk about some stuff, maybe some controversial issues here and there, but overall, it's a good talk. I like the interaction. And let's see. Yeah, don't be a freaking idiot.
Yep. Don't be a freaking idiot. Well said, Doc. Well said. On that note, I'll give you my final thought. My final thought is it's never a good thing to resist. I keep preaching, comply with the officers' orders. There's avenues to take to correct an injustice if you feel you were treated badly by a law enforcement official. And please don't forget to like our show on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube page. That's so important, man. When you go to, it doesn't cost you a dime. Go to the YouTube page, BlackSheep Bravo, click that subscribe button, and that's it. You get all the notifications, all the wonderful shows. We got Monday Motivation with Ogre on Mondays. We got Tuesdays with Double O. What do you know? Chuck is working on her show. And, of course, our Friday night roundtable show with Doc and I and all of our guys, man. It's all about veterans, helping veterans, bringing joy and laughter to the Black Sheep Bravo viewers. And I cannot end by saying my trademark to all my law enforcement officials. Always wear your vest. This is the Double Dog on behalf of Black Sheep Bravo, Beyond the Thin Blue Line, with myself and my wonderful co-host Doc. See you next Sunday on Beyond the Thin Blue Line. Take care, everyone. Happy Sunday. God bless.
Bye.